So off rip in the introduction of this video, you might be thinking about who Creeper is. Well, if it wasn't very hard to tell, Creeper's a but that should be pretty obvious even before seeing their whole entire channel. Almost all of his videos are boring, his audio is very low quality, and he isn't funny at all, and most of the times when you want to watch a Communist Creeper video, it's almost unwatchable. Now, I first heard of Communist Creeper when it came to Epic Dude responding to his transphobia allegations. Back then when Epic Dude was stirring up some shit, making me laugh my fucking ass off as usual, I saw him put Communist Creeper's comment on screen, and honestly, it made me wonder why people didn't like him so much. But then it came to me having my own experience with Communist Creeper, and I figured out why people didn't like him. His entire existence revolves around arguing with people, being a whiny mega He's almost always wrong in every single fucking argument he starts. He can't make a good point to save his life without being hypocritical, and he does nothing but refuse to take criticism. That's going to be enough of this autistic rambling, and I'm now going to get into my first part. So first, when I started noticing how awful his points were. So I was arguing with Communist Creeper in a YouTube comment section, right? And he made it a point that I was responsible for what I put on my channel. I mean, like, no shit, Sherlock. This isn't even considered a point. This is more like stating the obvious. Like, what the hell? Before we continue with this argument, let's actually give you a little bit of context. So, like, back when I was making my Harley TBS series, right? And I decided that I would make a thumbnail, which was like basically rage bait. Depatine, or Doozy, had made the second thumbnail. It was out of pure motivation for like trashing on Harley in my Harley TBS series. And the thing is, I didn't even have to ask him to make it. You can see in my DMs like right now with Doozy. He said that he made it for fun. Kept trying to tell Communist Creeper that, hey, Depatine made it. I didn't have to ask him to make it. I didn't ask him to do all of this. Communist Creeper potentially ignored what I was trying to say and reiterated it as me crying because I couldn't put slurs in my thumbnails. Like, holy shit, I don't fucking care that I put slurs in my thumbnails. So what? Creeper continues to do this throughout the whole argument while essentially making literally no good points at all. And no, I didn't have Doozy like make the thumbnail. He made it by himself out of motivation for trashing on Harley. I never even brought up the slurs inside my original comment. I never even brought it up as a talking point. Like, when did I say I cared? And I told Communist Creeper that Doozy made it by himself, but he just didn't listen. He stated the obvious and said that I put it as my thumbnail. Okay, and where's your argument? So I told Communist Creeper that I put the thumbnail there anyway because I didn't feel like making a thumbnail. I was like too lazy, right? Only for Communist Creeper to be a fucking faggot. Make Communist Creeper look like a bitch? Communist Creeper complains like a bitch. Clearly, I don't even understand what you're trying to call me out on. Are you trying to call me out for using slurs? If so, like, the shit doesn't even matter, dude. You know, it's probably just like using slurs in general. Some stupid social warrior justice bullshit like that. Basically, if you couldn't tell already, Communist Creeper is the type of person to flip out when you make a fucking joke that's too edgy. He's essentially the type of person to go and make fun of all these straight white men and all these straight people. Oh, ha 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 ha. But as soon as you oppose the fucking rainbow, oh Jesus Christ, now we have a problem. Stop harassing LGBTQ people. Oh my god. Like, dude, you're such a fucking bigot. Like, oh my god, this is so horrible. Like, at least drop one piece of criticism. And I even told Communist Creeper that his video was just a washed up version of Brie Loland's video, which basically adds nothing to the table at all. It's literally just the same thing on the same topic but a different YouTuber. It's nothing special. They even tried to make it look like I was pinning the blame on Doozy, like I blamed him for putting slurs in my thumbnails. I mean, yeah, I'll put slurs in my thumbnails if I can get a reaction out of people, or if it was like rage bait like Fairy Alamo. But what do you mean I'm pinning the blame on Doozy? I'm just telling you he made it out of his own will. And I even provided evidence comments earlier, and I even told them directly in the comment section that I do not give a fuck if I put slurs in my thumbnails. I mean, yeah, I'll stop doing it a little bit if it gets me mass flagged, but for most of the part, I don't really care that much. I like to let loose a little bit. What is Creeper Imp playing here again? Alright, they did a shit job at calling me out. But you're probably asking, what did Communist Creeper try to call you out on? Well, let's go back to the first point of his video.
Bigotry is relatively large in the commentary community, specifically towards trans and LGBTQ plus people. Racism is not really too well known. It's much more acceptable to be openly bigoted towards trans and gay people. It's easier for small commentators to attack trans people and gay people for the fact that they're gay or trans. This usually comes in the way of using specific slurs to harm these people because the slurs have a history of being used towards trans and gay people.
Listen, I know you're this much of a fucking idiot, but bigoted isn't when somebody is using slurs. Like, holy shit, I get that you're this fucking stupid, but slurs don't immediately equal bigoted. Relolan made the same point, but at least you can see where he's coming from. At least you can actually see his point. You just make the point look completely awful. Bigoted means an unreasonable attachment to a certain belief. It's not immediately equals bigoted.
So it seems recently that there's been a trend within the commentary community to just absolutely shit on the community for 20 minutes straight. Like, I can't tell you how many small commentator rants I've seen in the past fucking 2 weeks. And ironically enough, lots of these videos, they go after the small commentary community for hopping on bandwagons, when in reality this whole small commentator rant thing is a bandwagon as well. One example of this is Cumshot Creeper. You know, he's just our absolute favorite fat Twitter user, so yeah, without further ado, let's get reacting to Communist Creeper's video. So the first point that Communist Creeper brings up in his video is that the small commentary community is just full of bigots and, you know, like, stop harassing LGBT people. But truthfully, the examples that he brings up is bigotry, which, just so you know, all bigotry means is an unreasonable attachment to a belief. All bigotry means is an unreasonable attachment to a belief. All bigotry means is an unreasonable attachment to a belief.
So yeah, I'm totally bigoted. I totally said some bigoted things. Jesus Christ, you're fucking retarded. Even Samuel replied putting Communist Creeper in their fucking place, and then they reply saying that I was calling people slurs as criticism. This is his worst point. Mind you, he's barely watched a single second of any of my content. Like, seriously, you realize that calling people slurs isn't bigotry, right? And yo dude, thank you again for ignoring the point made towards you. I seriously appreciate it. Like, seriously dude, his comment was about you being a hypocrite and how you deflect criticism. So going off from arguing to YouTube to arguing on Twitter with Communist Creeper, it all started with Relolan lying about me. Like, come on, the clip that he plays is clearly obvious that I'm not bigoted, like, at all. It was just me sharing my opinion. Relolan is a fucking stupid, and the way he handled the drama shows my point. Literally all the drama with Relolan and Communist Creeper was surrounding my thumbnails. It's basically all this stupid fucking self-morally righteous bullshit. Hey bro, you did something so messed up, and then they never elaborate why. Bitchiness after bitchiness after bitchiness. It's just a bunch of fucking faggots, dude. So about the argument that started on Twitter because, like, I was laughing at Communist Creeper's pathetic attempt to get Harley's attention, right? And he told me if he wanted to get Harley's attention, he would just DM them. But the thing is, he added them in the original tweets to get their attention. Now you can tell almost every argument that Communist Creeper makes ass. So I'm skipping a large majority of the conversation because it's just autistic. So one of Creeper's other damaging points was that I get other people to put slurs in my thumbnails for me. So far, no, not really. And I can use another example other than Deputine, alright? So I asked Fairy Alamo if he could make this thumbnail for my trans content creators rant. And mind you, I never told him to put the slur in the thumbnail in the first place. I just asked him to make the thumbnail. So he gave me the thumbnail and I kind of felt a little bit nervous about putting it on my video, and I had a fear of being struck. So one of the main reasons that I thought I would have Fairy Alamo remove the slur from the thumbnail was so that I could get all of my points across without being fucking transphobic, or at least the whole entire video being twisted as transphobia. Some people complained about the thumbnail, others laughed their ass off at it, so it really wasn't that big of a deal. But then, completely out of nowhere, I got 50 fucking notifications complaining about the thumbnail and saying that they were going to report my video. And mind you, I trusted Fairy Alamo on this video. He said that I would be completely fine, and I believed him. So I changed it, and now people are still complaining that I'm saying so. Like, what more do you want from me? But that's getting a little bit off topic. That was just about the thumbnail. So, as I showed you in the screenshot earlier, I didn't ask Fairy Alamo to put the slur in the thumbnail like at all, and he did it out of his own will. In fact, after I was getting a lot of backlash and a lot of people started complaining in my notifications about it, I asked him to remake the thumbnail and remove the slur. I mean, yeah, it would get people to spurg out a little bit, but sometimes people barely complain about it, so I assume that it's not really gonna be that big of a deal. Alright, so I believe this to be Communist Creeper's final point. Oh wait, he doesn't make any other points at all. Well, that's in the argument. He does make another point against me responding to one of my YouTube comments. The only claim Relolan has made is that this person has said bigoted things, and they have. Lol. Yo dude, thank you again for ignoring everything that I've said in my previous responses. I'd really appreciate it. Like seriously, you know that all of my responses have been debunking those claims, but I mean your brain is too fucking small to understand that. Now, when you don't really have to dig that far into Communist Creeper, they're actually kind of a hypocrite. Like, look at this video.
The next thing I want to talk about is bandwagons. This one isn't as serious as the last two, but I think it's still stupid. People will jump on trends when they see it's popular, never question anything, and just go along with it. We've seen that with people like Mushroom Girl. She was like annoying or something, and people hate her. Whoa, horrible! Now, of course, I've been affected by a bandwagon where people will constantly harass me and attack me. Doesn't matter what I do. I didn't do anything. They just really don't like me, so that's really epic.
And you aren't? I mean, you literally made this video 3 days apart from Relolan's video, and even then, it's fucking ass. Like literally every fucking claim that has been made in both Relolan's and Communist Creeper's video, you can literally find it in any other fucking community. And even then, the only things that the videos bring to the table is being low quality and fucking ass. And even in this same clip right here that I showed you earlier on, Communist Creeper plays the victim and acts like he didn't do anything. Like the lack of unself-awareness. I could just end the video right here, but I gotta get through all my sections first. Okay, so second example of him being a hypocrite. Well, unsurprisingly, it's in the same video.
And of course, lastly, we have false predator allegations. Everyone's favorite thing. This actually kind of ties into bigotry because you'll notice how all the time the false predator allegations are about gay and trans people, which is something we're seeing a lot in the real world as well. I've already talked about this phenomenon in a video before. If you want to check that out, you can. Of course, this whole trend of calling people predators for no reason all started with Max Beefy's show. Of course, he never stopped doing it because he's just a degenerate like that. But for some reason, all of these people who have done horrible things, they aren't the ones attacked. Once again, going back to bandwagons, people make bandwagons against the most random people possible instead of attacking the actual problem.
And you don't do the exact same thing? Like you did the exact same thing to me. You made fake allegations, and you even boosted Relolan's fake allegations. You literally ignored everything that I had to debunk, while at the same time saying that I've said bigoted things when I haven't. What you call being bigoted is literally just other people having an opinion.
Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will always hurt me. Leave my home, shut off my phone, I don't want you to worry.
So it's appeared that Communist Creeper genuinely can't take criticism despite that being almost their entire career. And someone criticized Creeper in the comment section in my replies after our argument, which is basically them calling Communist Creeper sensitive and how they like to deflect from criticism. Oh, and just like a little side note, I accidentally called the first part earlier a hypocrisy point. I called it a hypocrisy point because they pointed out how a Creeper was jumping on a bandwagon when one of his points in his same video about small commentary channels, he's jumping on a bandwagon. Alright, back to my video. Which Creeper decided to go and deflect it as me calling people slurs as criticism. And also, I debunked this point earlier in this video, as well as actually going in depth on the argument, which also Creeper's response in itself literally deflects from the critique. Instead of addressing the criticism thrown at him, he addresses a problem that didn't even exist in the first place. Okay, at this point I'm actually kind of fucking tired. I was going to do some extra elaboration and prove this point very credible, but actually thinking about it now, I'm really pretty fucking tired. So subscribe or something, I don't know, that always works when YouTubers say that or whatever.